Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, Assalamu alaikum. So again, I'm going to start a new chapter that is about the survey research. Before this one, we talked about in much detail on the exploratory research. And in the last class, we discussed about the secondary data and its sources. And some of the sources which are available in Pakistan. So these sources were also told to you. And the new one in this one, we are going to discuss about the survey research method. Let's discuss this one. So now I think the survey is clear in your mind that what we are the survey. In the survey is a basically survey is a research technique in which the data is collected from the sample of people using interview or questionnaire. So two things are here that in this one you are collecting the data from a respondent in the sample through the interview or through the questionnaire. These two are there. Survey can be conducted with the help of the interview as well as with the help of the questionnaire. Normally, we think that the survey is only being conducted with the help of the questionnaire. Normally, people thinking, but it's not true. Interview can also be a source to conduct a survey. So these two are the methods through which you can collect your data from your respondent with the help of the interview and the questionnaire. Another survey are crucial tool for business research methods. So mostly the companies in the business, commercial organizations or non-commercial organizations, governments across the world, they are conducting the research method through a survey. They are conducting their research with the help of the survey because it is much more popular tool nowadays in the whole world, not only in our country but across outside our country. This is a much more powerful and across the world. Survey are undertaking using the verbal or written means to obtain the primary data. So two things are here that the survey are taking through the verbal, like the interview, like this one, and the written, like the questionnaire. Verbal with the help of the interview, and this one is with the help of the questionnaire. For what purpose? The purpose is only to collect the primary data, because already we know there are two types of data. One is a primary and another is a secondary data. Second data and the primary data. These are two sources normally are there through which we can collect the data. And then survey target individuals or organizations. These two are. Now the respondent, the person from whom you are collecting your response, the person may be individual or maybe an organization. You may collect the data, your primary data, your response from an individual person or from an organizations. So now the organizations, that there may be one spokesperson of every organization. Like in our Shabdati University, there is also one spokesperson of the university. Everyone is not allowed to talk. So if any person outside the university is coming, any organization or any other, he wants to conduct get some point of view of university, then he will be required to contact the person who is there, media person. That person is only authorized to share to share the view of the organization. Okay, and now the survey are often quantitative and qualitative. Normally we think that okay, surveys are only quantitative. Now I think you know the difference between the qualitative research and the quantitative research. Again, the quantitative research is there which we conduct on the basis of the Likert scale. Okay, and the quantitative results are response are in the shape of the numbers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever there. And in the qualitative survey, the research, the response are there in the type of the answers. And that's why the quantitative in this one, mostly we have the a close-ended questionnaire. In the qualitative, we have the open-ended questionnaire. I also give example about the MCQ, like which I'm giving you in your examination. Is a quantitative, and then the another is your question paper, in which the just questions are written over there. Like, for example, what is marketing, what is finance, what is HR management. This is the qualitative or open-ended questions in their orientation. So now the two types of there, quantitative and the qualitative. For example, if we go through this one, and then let it to open, because it's a link. So let it to be to open. Till daytime we're discussing the surveys are usually for done for descriptive. Okay. Surveys are done for the descriptive purposes and for asserting the characteristic of the of a group. So survey normally we do also for the descriptive purpose to describe the characteristics of our population, to describe the characteristics of our respondent, like their likes, their dislikes, their income level, okay, the location, different things are there. To measure the attitude and determine the behavioral pattern, sometimes to explore the idea or provide the casual explanation. So sometimes we can also do this survey for the purpose of the exploratory research and for the purpose of the cause and effect research. And then the okay, now, like, this is the 10 keys of advantages of the qualitative research. Quality research is designed to collect qualitative research is designed to collect the insight on on people's thought, emotions, or feelings. It is usually undertaken using the focus group or the depth interviews. So now you can conduct with the help of the focus group or conduct the depth interviews. These techniques, however, are time consuming and also expensive. So the we are okay. Now, if you go down, then you will find some of the like the advantages of the qualitative survey over the quantitative survey. So now, from this point of view, you see that the surveys can also be the qualitative in nature and the quantitative in nature. So if you compare the advantages of the qualitative survey on the quantitative survey, so these are certain advantages which are being possessed by the qualitative survey. These are the, if you need free time, you can go through this one. So these 10 are there. And then further, when we should use like the when to use the qualitative survey. So these the conditions are given here. In your free time, you can go through this one. Link is available. And then, okay, the survey have a number of advantages in terms of the collecting, analyzing, and the assessing information from the sample population. Now, if we talk about the survey advantages, it has several advantages, like that it's very much quickly you can collect more and more data. For example, if you send your there means people who can collect the data, if you give them the certain questionnaire, so I think within a couple of the days they can collect the data from the hundreds of the people. So from this point of view, it is very quick, very quickly you can collect the data. But if you talk about the qualitative survey, it is somewhat difficult because it is not as quick as this method. The reason is that in the qualitative research, you are required to conduct the in-depth interview. So in order to conduct in-depth interview, you may be required to have much time. Sometimes your respondent is free, sometimes he's not free. So different issues are there. That's why its quickness is lower than the quickness of the survey. Inexpensive, very much cheap, Just that means there is a expense of the photocopy paper and typing and the printing. So otherwise, except from this one, if you compare this one with the qualitative survey, again, this one is inexpensive. Flexibility highly flexible because different people can be your respondent. Efficiency highly efficient, and within the less time you can cover the maximum number of the respondent. Accuracy is much more accurate and helpful in decision making process, because this is a very important thing, helpful in decision making process, because the qualitative service sometimes it may not help you to decide, but in this quantitative survey may help you all the time in your decision, because the results are given to you in the quantitative form. And in case of the qualitative, the results are giving you in the prose. Because in the qualitative survey, one question has several answers. So sometimes it is very difficult to reach on the main conclusion is what is the actual answer of my question. What is actual, that means the suggestions which are being given by the qualitative survey to me being a decision maker. But in this case, that means that most of the time the suggestions or results are in the numbers, so that's why it is very easy to understand. Okay, the warning is also there. Warning is the advantages are only evident when the survey are properly conducted. That means that you can enjoy the advantages of this research survey when it has been conducted properly in the true manner. If there is any compromise or if there is any issue in conducting a survey, the results may be untrustworthy. So if you want to get the accurate and trustworthy result, then you are also required to fulfill all the formalities and to avoid all the biasness from when you are going to conduct the survey. There are different biases are there, different issues are there when you are going to conduct the survey research. Like these are the potential errors in undertaking a survey. When you are going to conduct the survey, so these are the different examples of the research which you normally find when you are going to conduct the research. So most of the time you will face these type of issues with you. So these are the errors which you have to solve. The first error is the total error. So now the total error is a combination of the random sampling error and the systematic biasness. When you combine these two, it becomes a total error. That means a 50% error is caused by the random sampling error, and the 50% is caused by the systematic biasness or systematic error, or we can also use the biasness or bias in the total error. So these are when you combine these two ones. Okay, so now this random sampling error ends here, but if you talk about the systematic error, it goes down. That means it goes from the here like the systematic error bias. It generates a respondent error, and the respondent error generates two other errors: non-response error and the response bias. And then response bias again create these two: deliberate falsification and the unconscious misrepresentation. So these are the two issues when there is a biasness on the part of the respondent. Okay, now these two, deliberate falsification and the unconscious misrepresentation, is being created because of these two: one, acquiescence bias, extremity bias, interviewer bias, auspice bias, and the social desirability bias. So these are some errors are there. Let's discuss these errors. So now the first one is about the random sampling. So now we are discussing this random sampling. What is it and how it is emerging? Now random sampling error arise when the group selected out of the population. So I think you know that one is a census, one is a population, and another is your that means your sample. Census, that means when you are going to count every person in the country. So it is called your census. And the population, when you are drawing some people from the census. For example, if you want to conduct a survey for the new concept, for example, if you want to test a concept in the circle market, definitely circle mark the people who are living in the circle, that is your population. But now, due to the some limitations, financial limitations, and that time limitation, we cannot cover the whole population. So when we are unable to cover the whole population, definitely we have to go for the sample. So now the sometimes our sample is not fully representing our population. For example, our population is only the literate female in the circle. So sometimes it is very difficult to find out these literate females in the circle because of any reason. So now sometimes we are compelled to also to take a response from the semi-literate or illiterate female in the who are living in the circle. This issue is there. If you are going to take your data from the people who are not in your response in your sample. So now here the random sampling error occurs. That means your sampling was not representative. And then technically we can say the random sampling error is a difference between the results of the sample and the results of the census conducted using the identical procedure. If you follow the same procedure to conduct the survey from your sample and from your census, so now the difference, whatever difference between there, that is called the random sampling error. And how to minimize this type of the error? So this type of error can be minimized if you increase the sample size. As you increase the sample size, in the same way, this problem will also be decreased. But one thing you should keep in your mind that you cannot that means the completely solve this issue. You cannot finish this type of the error. The error will remain there, but with your effort you can mitigate the size of that error, or you can decrease it. And the systematic error results from some imperfect aspect of the research design which caused the response error, or from a mistake in execution of the research. So sometimes this error can be occurred because of the wrong or the mistaken execution of the research. And then response error. This is what the respondent error. So here the respondent, I think you know the person who is going to give you the response. Survey depends on individual responding to question asked from the written or verbal. We are going to collect the data from our respondent in the shape of the in the shape of the written or in the shape of the verbal. Like in the written, again through the questionnaire, and the verbal with the help of the interview. Respondent must fulfill the two preconditions. So now the respondent has to fulfill these two conditions. The condition number one is to be cooperative. That means his cooperation is highly desirable when now when you want to be become when you have become agreed to become a respondent. Now it is your responsibility to be too cooperative all the time. For example, in case of the verbal form, like the interview, so now the duration of interview may be 15 minutes, 30, 60 minutes to maybe 120 minutes. But during the whole this duration of the interview, you are required to be cooperative, to cooperate all the time. And another important thing is that truthfulness is always very much important. That means that when you are going to your response, you should be truthful over there. Whatever you're telling, whatever you're sharing, the information with the interviewer or with the surveyor, your information should be true. Should be depending on that. It should be truth only. Okay. And again, in some time in the longitudinal research, sometimes in longitudinal research. So this research is it may consist on the like the 2 or 3 months or 2 or 3 years. It's also possible. So now in this research, sometime the respondent may be called several times. So now, even once you have become agreed to the response, whenever your surveyor, your researcher, needs your cooperation, you are required to go over there. So it is not a one-time activity, especially in the longitudinal research. The same respondent may be required to call several times during the span of your research. So that's why it is important for the respondent to fulfill these two conditions: be cooperative and be truthful. If the two preconditions are not fulfilled, then not fulfillment of these two preconditions by researchers, respondents, sorry, by are non-response error and the response bias. So now be cooperative, like if he's not giving you the response, then it's a non-response error that the person was unable to provide the response. So definitely it will create a non-response error. And then if he's not truthful, sometimes the respondent, because of a certain reason, he's hiding some information because of in social reasons. So if this is a problem like that, then it will generate the response biasness. And then here another thing is that the non-response error in cause of the non-responding. In this one, non-response error is defined as a statistical difference between the results of survey that include those individuals who responded and the perfect survey in which all the individuals have responded. So now, a non-response error can be statistically difference is that can be defined statistically as the results of a survey that includes the individual who responded. And for example, you respond in your sample size. For example, if your sample size is 100, so now the 40%, 40 people they are responding, 60% they are not giving the response. Then it is an issue. Then it is a non-response error. And if the perfect survey is there, if the sample size is 100, and when all the people have given the response, it's the perfect survey. But practically, in the word, perfect survey is almost impossible. Almost impossible, because it's very hard. Most of the time, it's very hard to reach the people. And even though if you are sending your question paper through the post office, through the postal or courier services, in this case, even the normally the response rate remains less than the 50%. So in the most of the cases, whatever I have experienced in the research, that is I have not seen that the 100% are the perfect survey response. And then the consequent problem stemming from non-response error. Now, the what non-response error problem generates is the survey-based research result may be unsuitable for decision making, because if from your sample size, if the majority of the people from your sample size, if they are unable to respond to give you a response because of any reason, then this type of the survey is not suitable for decision maker, because the decision maker will think is okay when the people are not there, when the majority of people are they have not responded, then how on what basis I should make a decision. So this type of problem this type of thing will create a problem for them. And then there are many reasons for not responding to the survey. Now the question arises, why the people are not responding you? The reasons are there: lack of time, the people who are in your sample size. People are much more busy, so that's why probably they are unable to respond to you. And the preoccupation of routine work. They are sometimes out of the city for their routine work. For there's a businessman who is regularly going outside the city several times in a month. So when you want to conduct his interview, at the same time he may not be available. This is also a problem. Absence from the home. Definitely, you if you want to conduct the interview, then the good place is his or her home. So the sometimes the respondent is not available at the home. Lack of interest in the survey, especially this happened in the longitudinal research. That is in the first time or second time, the respondent is much more interested to appear in the interview, but after that time, he started to is not to take interest in your survey. So this problem may occur there. And other is a culture like that factors are there, because of certain cultural factors, people are not ready to respond to participate in your that means in your research or in your survey.
Ali.
And then response biasness. Biasness response based bias occurs when the survey respondent tend to answer the question posed to them in a certain direction. Thereby, consciously, unconsciously, or intentionally or carelessly, they are hiding the truth. They are not giving you the, for example, two reasons are taken. If you ask the income from a male, the most of the time he will not respond you. If you ask, the most of the time he will not respond you.
अच्छो अच्छो होता हाँ.
Okay, so like the factors income, if you ask income level from a male, that means a respondent, so definitely he will hide. Most of the time, the male member they are not ready to show their income. If another is about the age from a female, then again the same issue will face over there. For the ethnic background, that means with which you are belonging, either you are Christian, Muslim, the most of the people they are hiding this information because of any reason. For example, your religious background, are you a Sunni Muslim, Shia Muslim, or any other primary Muslim? There's some people they are hiding because of some social reasons are there. If this is the problem, now because of these, when the people are hiding their response, are consciously, deliberately, or unconsciously, or intentionally, because of the reasons are there, because of a certain class is there, because of some threats from the people, but sometimes the your like the your research survey is depending on the political issues. Then sometimes the people they are reluctant to answer your question. Response. Okay, deliberate falsification occurs when the survey respondents deliberately give the false answers. For example, when the respondent wants to appear more intelligent, to avoid embarrassment, or to conceal personal. So now sometimes they deliberately they want to give the false review. The reason is, for example, your survey about the shopping habits. Now it's a problem. Respondent has forgotten expenses. Now, for example, if I ask from you that how much amount you spent on your shopping last week, now most of the time people do not remember. So now deliberately they say, okay, 10,000, 15,000 are, for example, sometimes they do not know who is respondent. And suddenly if you reach over there, if you ask from him, okay, sir, how much did you spend your money on shopping in the last month? So now probably you want to hide this information because you do not know who is he. And then the further another example about the employees. So always, further, if your boss asks from you about your satisfaction, about your performance, so definitely everyone wants to hide. So definitely sometimes you hide. Okay, sir, I'm satisfied. So now, because of the adverse, because of the detrimental, there is a consequences. There is the sovereign says, yes, sir, you are right. Yeah, I'm satisfied. My salary is satisfied. My performance is very good. Okay, the respondent wants to please the interviewer. Sometimes the respondent they are trying to please the or make happy the interviewer. That's why that he's trying to answer his question in a way that answer should make happy the respondent, and then give answers they thinking will bring about. And okay, some respondent want to appear average. Okay, some respondents they want to provide with the average, like they do not go on the extreme, left extreme or right extreme. For them in the molecular scale there are five, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the some respondents are there, they will either choose the one strongly agree or the five strongly disagree. Now this is the two extremes are there. And but the some respondent what they do they remain in the middle of this one. Sometimes they will choose, most of the time they will choose a three, and some are hardly they will choose, sometimes they will choose two or four, but hardly they will choose the one and five because they think the one and five is a one type of the extreme and they want to avoid this extreme. And then another thing is survey respondent unconscious misrepresentation occurs of the specific situation or stimulus a survey respondent find himself or herself because of the nature of the question asked, even though the respondent is trying to be truthful or cooperative. Even though that means that your respondent wants to be true, wants to cooperate with you, wants to tell the truth, but due to the certain problems, he's unable to do to tell you the truth. For example, if you are asking that the performance of your boss, the behavior of your boss with you, if this is a question, now what normally you answer? Because you want to avoid the negative consequence. For example, right now, if you say that your boss is not cooperative with you, or the performance of your boss is not good, or sometimes there is a peer evaluation. In the peer evaluation, one peer is going to evaluate another, his or her peer. Father, we are the faculty members. If you ask from me, what is the performance of your another colleague? So now, sometimes I may hide the truth because of the negative consequences, because of having the not good the results of that comment. So I may hide some comments. This is happening deliberately. I will hide the fact because of the certain negative consequences in the future. For example, respondent has forgotten the dates. For example, if I ask from you that on the same day, last month, in your dinner, what did you eat? So now it's almost impossible to answer. So now what will they? Then you will guess it. Now sometimes guess is right and sometimes it is wrong, and the information most of the time is inaccurate. And further, if I ask from you, in the last month, which movie did you watch? Now, probably you remember it, or probably you may not remember it. And if you do not remember, then definitely you will guess. You will guess over there. Okay, I watched this movie, but your answer may not be right. Respondent does not have enough time to think to answer the question. Sometimes they are in a hurry. For example, if you are they means conducting your survey in the shopping mall, and most of the time they are coming to people in the shopping mall for the shopping purpose. So now they are sometimes that they are most of the time they are in a hurry because they want to cover to complete their shopping as soon as possible to go big. If you ask this type of question over there, I think that most of the time they are unable to answer your question. The feeling often cannot be expressed accurately in the words. For example, if you are showing them one time with the mobile phone, sir, what do you think about this mobile? So sometimes they have no words. Sometimes there are some news are there in which the son is beating his mother. If you ask this type of the question and we're showing the movie, this type of the movie to the respondent, and I ask some questions from the respondent. So now because of the feelings the respondent may not express, because the thing because of the movie, the clip which you are showing to him, that is highly like the which create the problem, which is highly sorrowful, and the people they feel sorrow, and because of that the people probably may not be able to express their feelings. And the intellectual survey are particularly susceptible to the conscious misrepresentation by the survey respondent due to the culture and the communicational differences are there. So that when you are going to conduct the international survey outside your country, in other countries are also there. So the problem is there that the most of the people they do not know. That means that people are not going to believe on you. That why I should provide you my response to the person to whom I do not know, even he's from another country. What are the objective of that person? We do not know. What are the objective of that survey? We do not know. Why I should become the part of that one? And sometimes the people think, okay, if I become the part of the this survey, and in the future I may face some problems from the government, from the agencies, from any other one. So that's why the person may try to avoid to participate in international survey because of the culture and because of the communications, because the survey is in English, and in the different countries, everyone is not good to know the English language, or if it is in the Chinese language, the most of people they do not know the Chinese. These are some reasons are there because of that one the people may not be ready to participate in your survey. So here I'm going to end my lecture because of time limitation. It is about the 35 minutes have gone and it's a time limitation. So inshallah we will meet on the Monday at the same time. Thank you very much for your cooperation.